Blackstone Audio presents The Great Siege, Malta, 1565, by Ernle Bradford. This book is read by Simon Vance. Forward. I first came to Malta in 1942, at a time when the island was enduring the second great siege in its history. I was then a naval officer, the navigator of a destroyer, and too busy to care about the island's past, or that other great siege which had preceded the one in which I was involved by nearly 4 centuries. In 1943, I revisited Malta during the invasion of Sicily. It was then that I saw the island fulfilling the role which Suleiman the Magnificent had envisaged for it in 1565. From Malta, the Allied forces stormed and captured Sicily and Italy. I returned to Malta in 1951, this time at the helm of my own small sailing yacht. I now had the leisure to learn something about Malta's history, and about her first great siege. I was fortunate that Captain John Tothill, DSC, Royal Navy, was at that time captain of Fort Saint Elmo. It was he who kindly allowed me to berth my boat in the small harbour that lies behind the fortress. For 5 months I lived in that narrow stretch of water, which was once the moat separating St. Angelo from the village of Birgu. It was here that the galleys of the Order were moored during the Great Siege. During that time, I grew to know every detail of the fortress, its bastions, its chapel, and its council chamber, as well as those long tunnels and caves beneath it, where the galley slaves were formerly incarcerated. I did my daily shopping in the narrow streets and alleys of what is now called Vittoriosa, the victorious city, but which is still Birgu to the Maltese, as it has been for centuries. I visited all the places which had figured in the Great Siege of 1565. It seemed to me at times more real and vivid even than that second siege of only a few years ago. Since then, I have revisited Malta many times, in spring, summer, autumn, and winter. I have lived in several parts of the island, and have sailed all round the small archipelago. I have grown to know and respect its people. Without their kindness and assistance, I would have found it difficult, if not impossible, to undertake this book. The Great Siege of Malta was one of the decisive actions in the history of the Mediterranean, indeed of the Western world. "Nothing is better known than the Siege of Malta," remarked Voltaire. The fact remains that very little has been written on the subject in English, and this notwithstanding that the island was confirmed a British possession as long ago as 1814. This lack of interest on the part of English-speaking historians may perhaps be traced to the fact that the English...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?